Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Nice to have you along for another video here on NaviSim101. As always, please do smash the subscribe button and also click the like button as well if you enjoyed the video. And also don't forget to click the notification bell so you can be informed of future video uploads. Alright, so what we're going to be doing today on this video is just showing you how you can prepare for your very first VATSIM IFR flight. Okay, so it's something that a lot of flight simmers kind of like hold back doing because of this push to talk fear, fear of not knowing what to say to the controller, worrying if you get things messed up a bit. So one of the things that can actually help alleviate the fear of flying on VATSIM is preparation. So this video basically is to show you from scratch how you can prepare for your first VATSIM flight. All right, so let's go. All right, so what we've got here in front of us is the open world. Okay, and one of the very first things you need to decide before you go on VATSIM is what aircraft am I going to fly? Okay, so what we can do is go to the aircraft tab there, and you can see you've got a whole list of different types of aircraft vehicles that you can fly. All right, now not every aircraft here will be suitable for IFR flying because of its equipment capabilities. So for example, the Junkers Ju-52, for example, is an old aircraft, and you're not going to have any transponder capabilities on that. So the controller likes to have a transponder available, so you won't be able to fly IFR, or it might not be suitable for IFR, but you can fly VFR. It's perfect for VFR. Okay. On the other hand, if you're going to fly obviously an Airbus or anything else with G1000, G3000, you know, all those aircrafts are suitable for IFR flying. Okay, so we're going to be flying in the Airbus Neo. Okay, and that's that bit sorted out. So I would also say that, you know, whatever aircraft you choose to fly in, just make sure that you know how to fly it. Make sure you know all the systems, you know how to operate, you know how to select an altitude to climb to, how to descend, and how to do holds and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, just make sure you know how to fly the aircraft. The controller is not going to teach you how to actually fly a plane. Okay, so that's one of the things you can do to actually alleviate any stress from flying on VATSIM. Okay, now the other thing we can do, I'll show you, is I'm going to bring this up actually. This is what I use to prepare myself to fly on VATSIM. So this is a 29-point checklist, as you can see there. All right, so I basically use this for when I'm going to do if I'm going to record a VATSIM video. All right, so I would use this just to make sure I've got everything right. And it's pretty handy to have actually, because you know, just like preparing a normal aircraft, you know, we use a checklist. Well, we can actually use a checklist to actually get us to a certain point on VATSIM, and that is speaking to the air traffic control. Right, so now just going from point number 1 and working our way down. So we got obviously here decide origin and departure airports. Now, I mean, that's pretty obvious, I know, but do you know that you can actually spend some time actually deciding where to go? So for example, there's not much VATSIM controllers on at the moment, and this is because it's like 11:30 at night. So there were quite a few on earlier on, and yeah, it was quite populated here, but then they're slowly dropping off. Okay, so what you can do to decide where you want to fly to, you can actually do it a day in advance. So if you on Vatsim Map here, you go to booking, and just down this list here, you can actually see the date. So this is tomorrow. Okay, so today's the 8th of December, tomorrow's the 9th, and you can see the controllers that are actually going to be on tomorrow. So you can actually decide a day in advance where you'd like to fly to, okay, and from where. So, for example, if we look here, we've got EDDN, which is Nuremberg. So you've got approach, you've got a tower. There's no ground there, okay. And if you want like the full Monty, then you'll have to look for the same airport with ground, tower, and approach as well. So, and delivery. So you got Manchester, it's got delivery, ground. Where has it gone? All right, so yeah, Manchester's got delivery, ground, tower. Okay, so it's really up to you as to where you want to fly from. All right, so let's just say, for example, Nuremberg. So you got tower and approach. Okay, so you can choose Nuremberg and your destination airport. Let's have a look down here. You've got LSGG, which is Geneva. So you've got ground and approach as well. Okay, and you're at tower. Okay, so you can either depart from Geneva and head on to Nuremberg, or you can do it vice versa. So it just depends. It's up to you. All right, so that's cool. All right, so now we've got our departure and destination airport. All right, so let's go back to our list and just look at the next point. So we've done that. The next one is to check AIRAC in date. Okay, that's very important, just to make sure that all of your waypoints and your flight map is going to be just like everybody else's. So you're all singing from the same song sheet, so to speak. Okay, so one of the ways you can do that is if you have a Navigraph account, okay, you can actually update your AIRAC this way. So it's a subscription-based account, okay, so you've got to pay for it if you want to have your AIRAC cycles up to date. So if it needs updating, it will say update here, and you can do that. And you can see it updates the add-on packages that you may have with Aerosoft and so on and so forth, okay. So, yeah, and that updates your charts, in-game panel, and also the application on your PC as well, and also the nav aids in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. So yeah, that's handy to have. All right, that's Navigraph. And what else? Now I've got here open up Track IR before MSFS. Right, the reason being is because at the moment, if you open up Track IR after you've loaded up MSFS, then it might be working, but then it could drop out. So I always want to actually make sure that that's open before the simulator. All right. The next thing is to open vPilot and check audio. All right. Now, I've put that on down to experience really, because I've actually had an occasion where I didn't check it, and I've got to the point of calling for clearance and the controller couldn't hear me. So it was keying, but he actually couldn't hear me. So I've had to actually just pause at that point, go into vPilot to see what was going on and sort the problem out. Okay, so this is vPilot. If you go to settings, and if you go down to audio, and then you've got the mic volume here. So you can actually select which microphone you want to use. So I'm actually using the line in input on my PC. Okay, and if you've got any other microphones, if I want to use the headset, then I can use the HyperX headset that I've got there. All right, so normally I would use a headset as it's just more freer really. Okay, so the mic volume, make sure that it's not hitting the red bar all the time, otherwise you need to bring the slider back down. Okay, and you can also adjust the output volume if it's a bit too loud on your computer. All right, so the other thing as well and don't forget to click apply as well. The other thing you want to be able to set up is your push to talk button. Okay, so this is very important. Now, your push to talk button should be easily accessible to you as you're flying, because you're going to be needing to speak to ATC at a moment's notice. Okay, so ideally it would be on your control stick, your yoke. All right, so your stick or your yoke, whichever you're using. So choose a button, a free button, and basically just come here, just click on that button, press the button, and you can see that it actually says button 2 on joystick HOTAS Warthog. Okay, so that's what I'm using. And click apply, and then that's all set up for you. All right, so that's pretty much it. There's nothing really at this point to talk about on that. Right, so that is that there. And I think the next thing we're going to go to is, right, check all controller profiles. Okay, so this is another thing that you might want to just check. All right, so if I just go back here and then we go to options. All right, go to control options. All right, so flight yoke system, I've got several controllers, Logitech flight yoke system and also HOTAS as well. So it's basically going to pick up whatever's plugged in. So just make sure that it's on the profile that you want. Okay, I have had an occasion where I've got to the point of moving off or checking my controls and it's not working. So I've had to actually come back and get that sorted out. Next point, which is number 6, download SimBrief flight plan. All right, so let's head on over to SimBrief. Okay, and there you go. And now do remember that SimBrief is owned by Navigraph. Okay, so both systems are fully compatible with each other. So you go here, you select create, or you go to dispatch first of all, dispatch system, and then it will bring to this page and you select create new flight. Right, okay. So what we're going to be doing is using Air France livery. So you type in AFR and let's just give it a number, 478. Okay, we're departing. We're going to go from Echo Delta Delta November and LSGG. Whoops, wrong one there. Typo. GG. Okay, and there you are. It's giving us that. Now, do bear in mind that if you allow SimBrief to select your alternate, then it could actually give you some real crazy far alternate. So just keep an eye on that. As we're not flying, it doesn't really matter. All right. Just a point to bear in mind that if you just hover the mouse over this here, you can actually get the METAR for the day, really, for your flight at this particular time. If you're going to fly the following day, then obviously this is not applicable. All right, but just bear that in mind. Just to hover the mouse there, and you can actually get the METAR as well. Okay, so you got the date here. Okay, you can actually select the date ahead. So we've got 9th of December, which will be the following day. It's probably 9th of December now, actually. And also this one here, depart Zulu. Now, do put down the time that you're going to depart. Now, let's just say, for example, your controller is logging on at 6 o'clock. All right, so he's on from 6 till 9, and you'll want to fly at 7. So do put down, say, 1900. Okay, if it's going to take that about an hour to actually prep your aircraft, then put the time down, 1900. Okay, because this time is going to be sent to vPilot. I'll show you that a bit later. Okay, so that's the Zulu time, and if you're in Europe, Zulu or Greenwich Mean Time, Zulu time, and the current time is exactly the same. All right. Yes, you got your OFP, operational flight plan. I'm using the JZA format. Okay, you can take whichever of these is appropriate for you. Airframe, I'm going to be using the A320 Neo, so you can select one of your fleet there. And just going down here, a few things are auto and pre-selected, for you. You've got the flight time, which is 1 hour 30 minutes, and you've also got departure runway. That's the current departure runway and the current arrival runway. Taxi out time, which is taken from the scheduled flight time, is there. Okay, and you can select your altitude, or you can allow SimBrief to do it for you, as well as the passengers as well, 0 fuel weight, and so on and so forth. Okay, and just down here, you've actually got, sorry, just have a look. You've got the AIRAC cycle in green. So this is linked to Navigraph, like I said. So if it's not up to date, then it would actually tell you. Okay, but mine's up to date, so we're on AIRAC cycle 2112. Okay, and now just coming to this box here, this is your flight plan. All right, and you can actually select different flight plans if you want. You can actually select another one there if you so desire. Some of them will give you a SID and arrival, and some of them won't be, but this one is. So you can see there's a SID there, and there's the arrival. Okay, so that's one you want to have. If you're putting your own flight plan in, if there is some problem with the waypoints, then it will actually tell you to validate your flight plan, analyze the route, and if it's still not in green, then you'd have to actually take out some waypoints that perhaps don't exist. All right, so just moving down, you can see our flight plan. Okay, there we are. Okay, you can change the map format here. Okay, but I'm not going to do a tutorial on SimBrief. Okay, this is literally just to get our flight plan. Okay, so once you're happy with that, then just go ahead and click Generate and erase previous flight plan. Right, cool, and that actually is gone over, or has gone over. Okay, right, so if we go back to our aircraft. Now, what I also do, right, I have the, so if I just go back to SimBrief just for a minute. Okay, now you've actually got this program called, where is it now? FMS Downloader. Okay, so this downloader basically is really cool because it will, if you've got several aircrafts on your system, and I actually use Prepared as well, so it will actually download all of the necessary files to the particular aircrafts and different software that you want. So for example, here, just collapse that. So we got SimBrief downloader here, and you can see that all the ones in black are the ones that I'm using to download the appropriate files to the aircraft. So this is important for us, vPilot. So it's actually downloading direct to vPilot folder, okay, our flight plan. All right, so that you can see that later how that comes in handy. Okay, and got other aircrafts here, which is not for this particular video. Ablesoft, okay, you can download it to Ablesoft if you do have that. I do have a video on Ablesoft on the channel if you want to see how the program works, and also a PDF document as well. That's really handy. So I've actually got that going to documents, and also that's going to Ablesoft as well. Okay, Aerosoft, Airbus, and so on and so forth. So I really would recommend you downloading this actually, because it really does make life a lot easier when you got your files automatically gone to their appropriate locations. All right, cool. So what we're going to be doing is going to Nuremberg. So let's just see if that's still up. Yep, so that's still up there. And then we're going to zoom in and zoom to Nuremberg. There we are. And we're going to select a departure point. So we go to a gate. So What's that one there? Gate. Yep, gate 9, I think it is. Medium. So we'll click on. And there we are. It's brought us to our aircraft. And we'll just pop outside there. You can see Nuremberg Airport. Alright, it's all empty. And the other thing I will say to you, the reason why this is empty is because I've actually got real live traffic turned off. Okay, so if you go here, control options, and go to traffic, all right, and just turn off live traffic and also turn off any airport vehicle density. Well, actually, you can turn on the airport vehicle density. That's just the cars and stuff. So you can turn that up if you want, actually. Just the aircraft you want to turn off, okay? The other thing you want to turn off is the sound, which is the SIM-based ATC. So you want to actually have that voices turned down, okay? So you don't want that interrupting, okay? And you just click apply and save, which we'll do, and then we'll go back. Okay, so I'm actually going to change the weather actually, because the weather looks a bit, it's not very nice, doesn't look very nice at all. So let's go to fair weather. Nice. Okay, that's cool. Right, so now we're moving along and we're slowly building up our flight plan here. So what we want to do now is just go back to our little checklist. Okay, so we've done that. We've downloaded the SimBrief flight plan, and it has actually gone straight to the aircraft. I'll show you that in a minute. Now I've got here log on to NaviGraph in-game panel. All right, and set up all quick tabs on NaviGraph. Okay, now this is important. Okay, if you're going to use NaviGraph, so we'll go to in-game panel. All right, so this is why I have it on a checklist, because NaviGraph wants you to log in every single time you use the system, every time, which is quite annoying really, because you know, it's, unless you remember to do it, you could actually be, you know, ready to taxi out and needing to have a look at your airport information, and you know, you've got to log in. So it really is quite irritating that they keep making you do this, but there you go, we got to live with it for the time being. All right, so what we want to do is log in. All right, so you click on that button and it goes to NaviGraph, click OK. Right, so now you can see that you're now logged into NaviGraph and you can see your flight plan. Okay, so any previous flight plan you want to get rid of. So if you go to flights and go to unload, and it gets rid of that. I have actually got a video, a full tutorial on how to use NaviGraph, how to get the best out of it on the channel. So I will put a link up in the description, and you can go through that if you're unfamiliar with how to use NaviGraph. All right, so to get our flight up, go to flights and go to new flight, and now you've got here from SimBrief. So in the settings, you actually put your SimBrief username and it will link directly to SimBrief, and you can actually see your flight plan here. So that's what we've just created, so we're going to use that. Okay, and there it brings up our flight plan. Okay, now you may have to actually put the departure setting. We don't at the moment, because that's what we chose. All right, and also the arrival as well. So that's done for us. The only thing we'll have to put in is the final here. Okay, so assuming that it's a straight in approach, then we're going to select our approaches. So we've got approaches here, ILS runway 22 SPR, and that's it. That's what I want. Okay, so, and it's got it up there, ILS runway 22 SPR. Okay, and you can see here the go around as displayed by these dots here. Okay, right, so we've done that. Okay, and what we want to do now, basically, because now we got all our flight plan set, okay, we want to actually make it easy for ourselves by setting up the quick tabs. Okay, so we'll go to our airport and open up our charts list, and we're going to go first to the airport information. So we'll go airport. Okay, you can see the airport there, and we'll just select this, and that puts it down there. Okay, now it doesn't really matter what order you do it in. If you done the SID and then you actually done the airport, it will actually put it in order. Okay, so that's a good thing about it. Right, so so that's that. I also always put the parking stands as well, coordinates where they are. Okay, so that's handy to have as well. Okay, it just shows you where your aircraft is. It's not a moving map, so you won't actually see your aircraft on that. You will actually see your aircraft on this. Good, so that's done. And the other thing we want to do, so we got the star. Okay, and our star is, let's have a look at the star. Sorry, the SID rather. A SID is linked to DIN. Okay, so this is the one we want. Okay, so we've got that set up. And our arrival is, let's go to Benno 1 Romeo 1 Tango, that's the one. Select the quick tab, and also we want our approach as well. So we're looking for a straight in runway 22 from SPR, so we want to get that as well. So approach ILS or LOC runway 22. Alright, so we'll click on that as well, and we want to get our airport information. So let's go to taxi and go to airport. Okay, and also parking stands south and north. Okay, and parking stands here, we'll click that as well. Okay, so looks like we've got all the information that we need. Okay, so all we've got to do basically is just do this as and when we need it. So this is the beauty of actually getting these quick tabs all set up. All right, what else? Let's go back to our checklist. Okay, so we've done that, set up all quick tabs, adjust external cam speeds. That's just for me before I record so that I have smooth camera pans. Turn on fly pad and load operating flight plan. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so if we go into the aircraft, right, okay, so just going over here, we've got our fly pad, and we're just basically going to check our SimBrief flight plan is imported over. So we'll click down here, import from SimBrief, and there you can see directly it's got our flight plan there. Of course, you've got to actually go to your settings and put your SimBrief username as well, just to make sure that it actually can see your flight plan. Alright, so if we go down, which is the one, this here. Okay, so this is where you can actually get your flight plan, so I get your airport information if you want that is. So if we go to Echo Delta Delta November, now sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, but you can actually just get all your information right here if you want. Okay, and so you got it right here. All right, so you got the best of both worlds. Either have it here on the fly pad or use the in-game panel. Okay, right, but sometimes, like I said, this doesn't work properly. Okay, so and also here as well, you've got controller frequencies, which is quite handy as well. So you can see here that you've just got center on here and Unicom. Okay, so pretty much a lot of places are going to be Unicom at the moment. If you click on this, it will actually select that frequency in your radio active. Okay, like so. Okay, so it will do that, so you ain't got to worry about selecting frequencies on your radio, so on and so forth. Okay, and if we just go to this page here, and you can see that, click on OFP, now you've actually got your flight plan right here. Okay, so it's everything is on, you know, on hand for you, which is really cool. Okay, and that's what we want for the aircraft, so that's good. Okay, and now moving on to our next bit on our checklist. So we've got that, we've done that. Check flypad NaviGraph charts, that's all done. Now write down all frequencies on the worksheet. Okay, now the worksheet I'm referring to is the one that I made and uploaded to flightsim.to, okay, which is this one. So this is pretty handy really, and I really would encourage you to download this, because it really does actually make it more simpler to talk to the controller. So basically you'd put the information here, fill out these boxes here, okay, and you can actually call up the controller in the order that it appears here when you're ready to call him up. Okay, and then you can actually put all the details down there. Okay, so populate it as much as you can. All right, so this is available on flightsim.to. You can download that, I'll put a link in the description. All right, so yeah, do download this, it's really handy. Right, so you can either get the frequencies from the charts, okay, on the in-game panel, if you want. So let's go here, for example, and you can see that you've got the tower on 11830, and you've got the 80s there. Okay, but it really is just more expedient to use the flypad, okay, like what we've just showed you. Just click on the tabs on the controller frequencies, and there we are. Oh, the other thing as well, actually, before we move off, is airport information. All right, I'm not going to go through it all with you, but just to say that if we just go back here, okay, you've got like all these different pieces of information, airport briefing, departures, for example. Yeah, just give a quick read through that, and actually it will actually give you some really good or handy tips, knowledgeable tips for you. So pushback and taxi procedures, this is what you really want to read through, really. And on arrival as well, so you got another one, departures continued. Okay, because sometimes it depends where you are on the airport, you will only take off from a certain runway. Okay, so use this to actually get advanced knowledge, advanced information about your departure from the airport. Okay, so let's just come out of that. Right, so we've written down all frequencies. Open up Aerosoft A320 PDF checklist. So that's just if you have any checklist that you need, then open that up. I've actually got this on a PDF, so yeah, make sure you have a checklist for that. I use Luke Air Tool. Okay, I do have a video for that on the channel, so yeah, open that up and set that up. Okay, log on to vPilot and submit your flight plan. Okay, so now what we want to do is just to do that. So let's go on to vPilot. Okay, so there's vPilot, and now we want to click on connect. Okay, now put your call sign in, which is okay, type code 820N. Okay, and whichever aircraft you have, you can actually just type in, say, Airbus, and it'll give you the code there. Okay, so we are 820N. Okay, and connect. Don't worry about the CCAL code, that's not applicable. Alright, so as you connect to VATSIM, what will happen is that all the controllers that are on will actually appear on the left hand side. Okay, so whether it's tower, ground, delivery, 80s frequency, everything will appear on the left hand window. Okay, alright. Mode C is for when you are taking off. Okay, you want to actually click mode Charlie. Okay, so make sure you do that. So another thing, when you actually go on to connect to VATSIM, and if we go outside the aircraft, you will actually start to see any aircrafts that are actually on VATSIM. So you might even actually have one spawn up in your gate. It happens sometimes. Okay, as you can see here, we're on VATSIM and there's nobody at all at the airport. Okay, but if it's a busy airport, then they're going to be popping up all over the place. Okay, so that yeah, so that's that. All right, cool. So let's get back onto vPilot and right. Okay, now flight plan. That's the next thing we want to do. So flight plan, click on that there, and you can see our flight plan. All right, so that's my last flight plan, and we don't want that, and we want to click on load. Click on that, okay, and there you are. It's actually brought it up to the vPilot flight plan page. Okay, so that's the handy thing about it. You don't have to worry about filling all these in. All the information that the controller needs is there for your flight plan. Okay, do make sure you select voice, send and receive. Okay, if you're going to be using voice, you can do text only, but that's boring and too much hard work. And you got your flight plan there. All right, and you got some information here. I don't know what that is, but you can get rid of it, and you can type out sort of like MSFS 2020 and new to VATSIM first IFR flight. Okay, so basically that just tells the controller, you know, to adjust his manner or his style of passing over the information to you. Okay, all right, so then you'd actually file flight plan. Okay, I'm not going to file it now at the moment. I mean, I can, it wouldn't actually make a difference really. So you can file a flight plan, and yeah, that's pretty much it really. If you want to get it again, you can actually select fetch from server. Okay, if yeah, if you need to. All right, so that is it. That's how you'd actually submit your flight plan on VATSIM. So once you do click on file flight plan, okay, he's got it. Okay, and it will say down here flight plan filed. All right, so pretty much you just leave it with him and carry on with your preparation. All right, so back inside the aircraft. All right, so what's next on the checklist? So let's go back. Right, so where are we now? So we've done that. Open pushback helper. So basically I use pushback helper. I have done a video on that on the channel. Okay, so pushback helper, if there's a jetway, you can actually, you know, just start your flight, your flight prep, connect the jetway. Let's have a look. Okay, jetways is connecting. I think, yes it is. Okay, that's connecting. All right, power, well that would have been in position already. Okay, your external ground power. Okay, and also at this time maybe you want to get your luggage guys and catering guys working. Okay, and let's go back into the aircraft. Alright, so select power cart, jetway, luggage catering, check ATIS info. Alright, so you can do that. Click here. If there's an ATIS, you'll see an ATIS there. Just click on the ATIS. Alright, and you can actually bring up the ATIS info. You will need that ATIS before you actually call up the controller. Okay, and this is why I say to download the Vatsim Worksheet, because it reminds you to actually get the ATIS information, all right, before you call the controller. All right, so get your ATIS information, right, and then you call for clearance. Nuremberg delivery, good evening. Air France 478 is type A320 Airbus at stand 9 with information Foxtrot requesting IFR clearance to Geneva, and you can actually state your QNH as well. All right, and he will respond, and he will actually tell you the SID that you've chosen, okay, and the runway, squawk, and the transition altitude as well. Now, this information is actually on your departure SID anyway. If he wants you to take another SID, okay, then he will ask if you can do it. Okay, so all you got to do basically is go back and just look at the alternate SIDs. Okay, that's all you have to do. Look at the alternate SIDs and just see if if the alternate is okay for you. So if we go here, departures, yeah, okay, he probably won't ask you to go back on yourself, but just have a look at the SID. If you can oblige, then it'll be really handy to do so, but if you can't, just say unable, that's all. So you've called for clearance. Don't feel rushed that you have to actually start your preparation, get your preparations over and done with quickly. Don't worry about it. You've got departure time. So all it's saying is that you've requested clearance, and he knows that you're going to be flying at the designated time. Okay, so all this here, point 19. This is for Luke Air Tool. Okay, set up your MCDU using the disrep procedure. Okay, sync Luke Air Tool passenger with the MCDU. Okay, and that's passenger boarding there, and prepare your overhead glare shield panels. Familiarize with airport taxiways using the in-game panel. Okay, from Navigraph you can actually see which taxiway you're going to be heading towards. Okay, so pretty much if you're trying to anticipate the taxiway, then that will help as well. All right, so that's that, and just going back down to our procedures. So we've done that. Familiarize with airport taxiways, other SIDs. Okay, review takeoff. This is for Luke Air Tool. Pilot boarding complete and closed doors. Disconnect jetway. Okay, and move tug into place. So this is important, because if you call to ATC with a fully ready request,
Captain Aviation 234 with you at flight level 360.
Then he's actually going to tell you to actually push back.
Squawk
So
2012.
you need to make sure that if you say fully ready, you've got to be fully ready. So that means disconnecting the jetway, okay, and also moving the tug in place, so making sure that the power cart's disconnected. All right, because all this takes time. That is it. So where are we now? We're at 29.
Right turn,
right, and yeah, pretty much call ATC fully ready, and that's how you basically prepare for your first flight. So it's got to be done in an organized way, and if you have a handy checklist like this, then you'll be able to actually make sure that when you get to point 29 fully ready, nothing's there's gonna be no surprises. You're gonna know exactly where you need to go, etc., etc. Okay, so what do you do from here on out? Well, I could actually make another 3 or 4 videos covering the different stages of a Vatsim IFR flight, but an even better way to learn to fly on Vatsim is just to see it in action yourself. So what I would suggest is for you to log on to the network, spawn into a ramp position, not the runway position. Okay, they wouldn't be too pleased with that. And just sit and listen to the pilot ATC transmissions. Tune into various frequencies. Tune into the ground frequency, tower frequency, approach departure frequency, and also the control center frequency. And just note how the pilots interact with ATC, and take special note of the phraseology used, but also take note of the mistakes that will inevitably happen. Sometimes they miss the runway turn-off point, the taxiway turn-off point rather, and they have to actually request direction to the gate or stand or to the runway. So all these things are just naturally part of learning to fly on VATSIM, and the more you listen to these transmissions, the more you realize that, hey, you know, we're all human, we all make mistakes, and we're all here to learn. So that's what I would suggest for you. Okay, so that's about it for now for this video. I hope you found it useful, and I hope it's going to help you with your very first flight on VATSIM. Thanks a lot for watching. Please make sure you do like the video and subscribe as well. It really does help the channel. It can help me to produce more videos as well. So that's about it. Bye for now, and we'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.